say goodbye to joint pain, and I'm going to show you some innovative solutions for lasting relief. So if you're experiencing joint pain, there are some reasons for the pain to happen, and how are you able to actually relieve yourself of the joint pain. I will share that with you with my information. There's 5 steps which I will share there, and in those 5 steps you will see how you can actually take control of your body and actually help reduce the pain in your joints. I'm Alan Warnitz, I'm a nutrition expert, and I help people restore their health with nutrition. I thank you for coming, and let's get started on how to sort out that problem. If you find yourself having joint pains and you've tried a lot of different options, you've tried medications, you've tried all sorts of different things, and you're still not satisfied as to why this pain is carrying on no matter what you tried, and if you've been on painkillers and you're sick and tired of being on painkillers because it's not helping, because every time you're off the painkillers, the pains come back. Mobility is impaired. You would like more mobility. Stay with me. I will take you through these 5 steps. So I will do a little bit of diagrams and descriptions, which will share with you some understanding on joint pains. So it starts with your bones. So you've got 2 bones here, and these bones are moving. So you need movement. So to be able to have movement, you're going to have cartilage around here. So there's some cartilage here. It's like a cushion, it works like a shock absorber, and it's also like a form of lubrication. So that's your cartilage. So between your cartilage, you're going to have like a pocket, which is called synovial fluid. There's a fluid, there's a fluid inside there, which actually helps also for lubrication, so that you don't get the pain. So you can't have the joints coming one against bone to bone, because the bone to bone is when you've lost the cartilage. So now, and in between your bones, you're gonna have tendons that actually keep the bones together. All right. So where does joint pain come from? Joint pain comes from, usually there's three ways that joint pain comes through. Inflammation. So how does inflammation happen? It happens to, let's say, damage to tissues. So around here, that pocket of fluid has got a tissue. It's made up of tissues here, which holds it, so that it's a pocket, so that the fluid doesn't go out. So if you have an injury or impact, that can get damaged, or the cartilage can get damaged, or the tendons can get damaged through sports, with sports injury. Those are the different things that happen. So that injury now will cause damage. So when there's injury or damage, what tends to happen is the body now induces inflammation. It actually starts a process of inflammation. So what is inflammation? Basically, it's trying to put around the injured area a protective shield. So that shield now has to protect that area. Because what happens when you have an injury, you've got germs. They are all over the place. So the germs now come and arrive into the injury. So they want to go and eat up your cartilage, they want to eat up the tissues. But the body has to create inflammation so that it puts a shield. So that when that shield is coming, that's when you get the redness. And then inflammation comes with pain. Because now what does the body have to do? When there's an injury, there's debris. So now there's damaged cells here, for example. So there's debris. That needs to be removed. Germs are coming in, so that needs to be blocked. So you need an immune system. So which is your T cells, your B cells, they need to come in, control the germs. So if your immune system is down, there's no control of the germs. They will enter. If your inflammation is not under control because you don't have the material to create anti-inflammatories, what's the procedure? You'll be taking cortisol. So that's why there's the use of cortisol to produce the inflammation, and the use of antibiotics to actually try and stop the germs. Because if you can't stop this, the process continues. Now, if you have uncontrolled viral and bacterial infection, in other words, there's uncontrolled because there's no shield, and the immune system is not working to take these away, you're going to have a continuous problem which now starts becoming chronic. That's what chronic illnesses are about. That's where arthritis will set in, or you start having autoimmune diseases, lupus or rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is where that fluid is damaged. Arthritis is where there's calcium deposits. So calcium now has deposited into the cartilage and has damaged the cartilage, has made it harder. So these are the different things which induce inflammation. But inflammation, if it can't control and keep the body, that body part, the damaged part, secure and protected, then you start taking cortisol. But for how long will you take cortisol? So the good news is that with the inflammation, with the injury, there has to be, the debris has to be removed, and then new cells have to come in. Those new cells are there to do the reconstruction. But if you've got inflammation, doesn't matter how many new cells come in or stem cells come in, because you need stem cells. Stem cells are virgin cells which will now come in here and be converted into the tissues or the cartilage that you need. So you have to give the materials. Now you can have as many materials as you want, but if you're not controlling the inflammation and you're not controlling the injury, you're not controlling the immune system, the debris there's more debris, so there's more debris removal and there's no protection. So how do you control bacterial and viral infections, and how do you control inflammation so that scar tissue is removed, the debris are removed, and new cells can come into the area of damage? So the first thing to do, you have to produce what is called an anti-inflammatory product or anti-inflammatory substance, or the body can produce its own cortisol. So how it does it? It does it with vitamin C, with vitamin B5, vitamin B complex, and omega-3. So those components are necessary for production of anti-inflammatory. So when you have this in place, the inflammation starts going under control. So when inflammation starts going under control, the joint pain that you're experiencing is starting to give you relief. Now, infections. How do you control infections? How do you control germs instead of having to take antibiotics all the time, antiviral stuff, or injections for antiviral stuff? So what controls germs? Viruses, bacteria, and parasites. What controls it? It's zinc, selenium, copper, vitamin D3, and vitamin E. So you need those to control your infections. And also you can also take antiviral and antibacterial herbs. Echinacea, olive leaf, African potato, artemisia. Those are astragalus. Those are herbs that will actually act as antibiotics or antiviral, while zinc, selenium, vitamin D, and especially vitamin D3, your T cells, it activates them. The T cells can go and be active and kill the germs. If you have no vitamin D normally, I found a lot of people, vitamin D levels are very low. So when your vitamin D levels are low, your T cells are not active. So you can have a lot of T cells, but they're not doing their job. So the infections keep growing and you keep being affected by the injury here, and it just perpetuates it, and you have ongoing joint pains. So when you control the infections with the zinc, selenium, copper, D3, vitamin E, and antibacterial herbs, then you are now reducing those two main causes of the pain, because it's not allowing the body to heal. Now that you've controlled those two, now you need the building materials, which is collagen. You get from bone broth. You can buy expensive collagen. I don't advise it, because your body actually can make its own collagen. Collagen comes from L-lysine, proline, and glycine. These are amino acids. Where do you find amino acids? You find them in proteins. If you're not too well, your protein should be taken with digestive enzymes. Otherwise, you can take protein shakes which have got digestive enzymes, or your normal protein, eggs, fish, chicken, meats, beans and rice. You can also have cheese or fermented cheese. Anyway, those are the different forms of protein. And then there's two other products called glucosamine and chondroitin. You can buy those in supplement form, because these are the building materials that will produce collagen, and from collagen makes cartilage. So you need collagen first. So collagen comes from your protein, and plus enzymes to digest it. It makes collagen. From collagen, you have cartilage. So this is the process. In other words, is the step-by-step process that you see. You can't just make cartilage without collagen. You can't make collagen without proteins. So you need to produce your collagen while your body's environment is actually now under control. Now, you also need electrolytes: calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. There's many ways of getting electrolytes. Those are helpful with water. You have to be hydrated with the electrolytes. It helps the production of electricity. It conducts electricity. All this process here, requires a movement of electrons. Electrons will produce all this process here. So where do you get these electrons from? You get them from electrolytes. So you have to have a supply of calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium, which you take, which is requires to move around the body with water. So that's where hydration comes as a very important part, because that also, with hydration, you can also have electricity moving, which also can actually reduce pain, because pain also sometimes is a blockage of electricity flow. So you can open up the flow with electrolytes. Then, now that you've got everything in place, the problem is as you get older, when you're 20 years old, this happens very fast. No problem. 20 to 30 years old, this process happens very fast. As long as you've got your anti-inflammatory, you've got your anti-infections, building materials and electrolytes, that works very well. And you've seen people, young people, how they heal very fast. Now, when you go past 30, 40, 50, 60, that process stops. Why does it stop? Because there's a molecule, a signaling molecule called copper peptide. The copper peptide is very high when you're 20, 30 years old. Very high, which means it signals the body to go and make these things. So if there's an infection and you've got all the materials, the signal is there. It's like a green light that says, go make it. By the time you're 40, 50, that signal, and by 60, that signal has gone less than half, which means you have everything, but it's not happening. So you need to have a signaling molecule. You need to up your copper peptide. You need to bring your copper peptide up the same levels as a 20 to 30 year old. When you're 40, 50, the copper peptide levels have gone down to less than half. How do you bring that up? There's copper peptides, you can buy them, you can take injections, very expensive, and it's very cumbersome to do and not easy to access. Now, there's a very simple and innovative way. It's a new option which I'm presenting to you. So I'm giving you these options here which you have. Now, this is a new option that you can look at. Please explore it because it's working. It's something that is creating quite a lot of transformations in people who've had joint pains forever, and it's actually changing their lives. I have many, many examples of that, which I can share with testimonials, which I'll show you personally. I've seen people which I have helped have recovered from joint pains by getting the signaling molecules up. How they do this, there's a patch called LifeWave X39. This is a patch. It's a patch that you put on your body. It actually uses your body's light, your body heat, to actually signal into your skin. It goes into your skin, signals it to produce copper peptides. So that's why I said that at the beginning here, for the infections you need copper. So the copper with the peptides, which is made from proteins, by elevating it, it signals the molecules, it activates your stem cells. And that's why I said earlier, there are stem cells. The stem cells arrive here, which are virgin cells. They manufacture your cartilage, they manufacture your tissues, they do the repair. So when you have repair, that's when your joint pain goes, and that's where you get lasting relief. So the topic was lasting relief. How do you get lasting relief? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you activate your stem cells, you elevate the copper peptide will activate the stem cells now will go to the area for repair, the repair happens, and there's another patch which is called the Eon patch. That patch is a brilliant patch. Wherever there's inflammation, which is uncontrolled inflammation, this one calms the body down. It actually regulates the inflammation, brings it down so that can be under control, so that when you're providing the anti-inflammatories together with this, it calms down the body and allows this process to happen. So this is another signaling molecule. So you need those two signals, X39 signal, Eon signal, those two. Those two signals now will tell the body, act as if you're 20 years old. So you could be 60 years old and your body inside is working like a 20-year-old to fix this thing. So here's your lasting relief from joint pain. That's how you do it. Now, if you're not sure how to go about it, where to get supplements, what amounts and all this, I offer a free health consultation. It's a 30-minute free health consultation. You can click on the link and book yourself a 30-minute free session. I will go over all these things with you, and I will provide with you materials that will give you the exact information on amounts, what to take, when to take, in what sequence, so that we two together work towards this solution to lasting relief. I thank you for listening, and I wish to see you soon and take you on this journey to a pain-free live life where you can actually have a better quality of life and longevity.